Thanks for staying with us. It's exactly 1 year since the nationwide EndSARS protests. This morning, we will be looking back at the talking points surrounding the demonstrations and the impact ever since. Join the conversation and call us on 081-270-53687 or 091-390-76948. So, my question will be, it's been 1 year now. Where are we in the scheme of things?
I had to cross my leg and lean back.
Pose.
Yeah. There are no right ways to address the situation. What is the crux of EndSARS? What was the reason behind EndSARS? It was because a group of young people felt that enough is enough with police harassment. A group of young people were triggered by a video of a young man being shot who was, he wasn't carrying any, he was unarmed, and then he was shot. So that was like a trigger for the fact that, how long will you just be killing us like this? Why are you harassing us? Why are you brutalizing us? And that's birthed a movement. And that movement, would I say a year after we have achieved, the people that led that protest have achieved their goals? According to what they're saying on social media, no. Especially at the back of what happened last week in Kwara State, it looked like, it was like...
we hadn't even done anything.
Like nothing happened. So technically, the SARS as a unit has been... disbanded. The police force, for me, have been hit, both left, right, center, during the protest, after the violence of the protest with many of the police stations burnt and many of their vehicles burnt, by many other issues of inefficient leadership of their own units. And then we still have the issue of brutalization going on in the nation. So why exactly did EndSARS happen? What exactly is the result of that protest? What are the gains from it? Because it was a unifying time for Nigerians. It was like never... I was too young in 1993 to know what happened in 1993. But for me, this was like, whoa, young people can come together. And it was... I could understand the pain. Even though I had personally not experienced the brutality of police, but I'd seen so many people who had. I've heard personal stories from people one-on-one. Social media carries live videos of such. So there was a reason for EndSARS, and I do not believe that we have effectively addressed the situations on ground. And we've heard many people saying left, right, the governor said they've done, there's been 24 million naira, a lot of money has been paid as compensation for some people, but have we really addressed the foundation?
The crux of the issue.
I don't think so.
Okay, let me come to Nima. What are your thoughts?
It's sad that the reason for the protests originally were after a while unclear or beclouded by other reasons. We have a way of seeing things here. Something that's genuinely started because of what people have suffered, you know, just sort of got hijacked. It became cloud chasing for some. The intentions were not really pure, so people didn't know where to stand. And people who genuinely had grievances, who wanted things to change, were judged. And we didn't know where to focus. What we wanted was clear, and everybody wanted that change. Now, those who have been able to bring their issues before the Lagos State Panel of Judicial Inquiry on this, and some other states as well, have, you know, been awarded compensation for those who had records of such brutality from police officers. Also, on the other end, you see police officers shying away from speaking up, because at the time of the protest, we had police officers, some of them saying, we'll for join on now, you know, because we need our welfare to improve. And me, I cannot sit here and tire from talking about police welfare. Because only when you provide can you then demand, you know, certain standards. So if we met their own needs, any police officer found erring anywhere will immediately be prosecuted, made to face the law, and made an example of to his colleagues. But when we have all of them looking for corners and ways to meet promotion, ways to meet their own provision in the line of duty, you know, it is not in the mouth of anybody. Government and citizens alike to demand that, you know, they should just scrap. Or we should scrap police stations across board. Because we saw people, I don't know how deep thinking, and I know this is very risky to say here, We saw people burning down police stations in protest. Those areas became high-rise crime areas. Now 3 traffic robbery on Badagry Expressway. Who do you want to blame when there are no police stations? Up north, up east in the east those days, we started seeing burning and attack of police stations. Now there's a level of criminality. There's nothing to use to curb it. We're bringing the army in. Little by little, we are taking away our fundamental human rights by creating problems that fundamental human rights cannot be put in front of. Just as the Tucano jet issue in the north. We had Boko Haram in the north, and every government kept saying we need more weapons. With the Tucano jet will come. It is Kenny-Con fighter jet. Only for it to land now. We don't discover English now. No, this one I'm just saying English. Now that there's a policy of proscription that would now, you know, we should be that becomes a prerequisite to using what we need, claim to have needed to solve a problem. Every time there's a problem, you don't create another problem to solve that problem. You face that problem heads on. And the way that the protest started originally was on the right track. We had governors meeting with these people. All we needed to do was articulate the point and insist and say we will picket these places. We will sit in front of these places till solution came. And then we had government now denying back and forth what happened on the 20th of October.
No, but Nima, there was an articulate 5 points later moved agenda. It was articulate that they wanted.
It later became 9.
Yes, and it was, you know, the issue with, there was a bit of lip service from the side of the government saying that they are done, that, oh, we've complied with this thing, but you didn't comply. It's like saying, oh, we need ammunition. The ammunition came in, but we cannot use it, and it lies with the government. So there's that little bit of distrust. And while I feel for the government, you know, like, it is extremely difficult to lead Nigeria now, because every Nigerian feels when anything you say, we look at it, we take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
So, to lead us now, you need to be above and beyond in communicating that you have our interest at heart. You need to say it, you need to do it. So the problem is, if the government come and think that, but I said I'm going to do it, why didn't you believe me? You are not talking to people, you're talking to somebody like, somebody that you have slapped several times. The person is brutalized. Once you do hand like this, even if they think you want to say I'm loyal, they would dodge because they feel you want to slap them. That's the way Nigerians feel. So there's a lot more that the government needs to do. And that conversation must happen, more importantly, today. I would love the president to speak and address these issues, because we cannot behave like it did not happen. It did. And it's not a public spokesman stuff. It's not representative speaking. That the president should address Nigerians that I know this thing happened last year. We did not like the way it ended up, but the issues you raised, we understand. Like the way the governor spoke. I read the governor's speech and I was like, okay, this governor is hearing, or that is the governor for Lagos State. I read his speech. So I think we should have that from the presidency as well.
Yeah. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll take phone calls and messages. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So we're still talking about the EndSARS protests. We're having like a memorial 1 year. And we know that for a state like Lagos, they have, you know, compensated about 72 people who were victims of the protests to the tune of over 410 million. And my question now will be, how do we begin to evaluate the successes and failures of the protest? Because what I find is we're not a reflective people in this part of the world. We just do things and we move on. How do we now take a step back and start putting, okay, did this work? Did this not work? What can be done better, in your view?
Okay, so me, I just want to see an improvement. And I think the government knows exactly what needs to be done. The people of government is people, and we are government as well. Nobody woke up from their beds and just hated the government in power. We saw the escalation, especially Abuja, the way the protest went. There was almost, like I said earlier, a denial of the facts of the things that happened. Police brutality is a reality across the country. And just last week, the commissioner of the IG has ordered the commissioner of police in Kogi State to investigate a 25,000 naira extortion that happened on the expressway there. We saw this police officer slap, assault clearly in clear video another Nigerian after EndSARS. So do we want this to continue while we use one mouth to say A and use the other one to say... There has to be a deliberate action on this. This must stop. People must be able, just as it was in the time of cattle and farmers issue, be able to approach a court and say, I had someone's cattle walk into my farm and ate up my plants. This is what I projected to profit. I need my compensation. My compensation, and get that compensation without having to. So there must be system.
Let me pause you a minute. Let's take this call. Abimbola from Abeokuta. Good morning, Abimbola.
Good morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Go ahead, you're live. We can hear you.
Good morning, first-time caller from Abeokuta.
Welcome to the show.
You're listening to the TV. Listen to us, please.
What I want to keep in something. I'm not saying the welfare of police is being well taken care of, but they are not the only uniform personnel. From this research, from my own research, I discovered that police salary, their take home is more than the civil defense, immigration, and fire service. If immigration, fire service, and civil defense can dress neatly, appear lovingly, I see no reason why they cannot manage what they have. I'm not saying the federal government is doing well to other agencies too, but there are ways you can manage. They are not the only ones. They are not the only uniform personnel in the country that the federal government is not taking care of.
So what you're saying in essence is that they should be able to work with what they have, right?
I think.
Okay. So Tope.
So for me, like I mentioned earlier, we haven't really resolved the issues that were raised during the EndSARS protest. We haven't dealt with the root causes of the issues. You don't quell the challenges. Nigerians are facing a lot of challenges, and people, when they are pushed to the wall and they have nowhere else to go, they would turn back and face you. And so our government needs to realize that a lot more needs to be done. Nigerians are not unreasonable. It's about communicating with us, words and action, words and action. And we want peace. I mentioned it yesterday. If the police do well, it's not the police that would flourish. It is not the president that will flourish. It is me, you watching, every one of us would flourish when the system works well. So it is to nobody's advantage to say that we want them to fail. Rather, we must find ways to work together. And our leaders, the leadership should also understand that every protest is not an attack. Protest usually is a feedback, Protest is a way of letting you know that if a baby does not cry, people will not understand maybe the baby is hungry or the diaper needs changing. So sometimes the baby crying is a way to let the parents know that my diaper or hunger or rashes or something is wrong somewhere. Protests, in most cases, what is going on right now is not to oust the government, at least not from my own perspective and what most people online are saying. It is to let the president know that, in case you don't know, this and this and this is happening. But if our leaders see it as an attack, they wouldn't deal with the issue. They would just feel like political elements are trying to take us out of power. And then we don't achieve the better goal we all want. I want us to listen to each other. I also want the Nigerian youth to listen to the government, because you cannot do it by yourself. Whether I cry from today, I carry placard, gas is not going to go back to 3,500 naira. And it's not like petrol is going to go back to 90-something naira. So the problems will remain, except we find a way to listen to them and talk to them in the way they will understand. So it's a two-way street. Communication is not one way. We both need to ensure it is flowing from one side to the other.
Let's take this call from Oluwatobi from Egbeda. Good morning, Oluwatobi.
Good morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you very much. The 20. But it has made the...
Oh, it's not... Yeah,
the audio
we
is
lost
bad.
him. Yeah, so I know also now that there are protests going on in Abuja and Lagos. But I want to understand the mindset of the protesters. What exactly are we hoping to achieve with this, this celebration of the 1 year? Are we going to now finally present those agendas we presented before? Are they going to present that? And, is there any way to follow up and see if there are some states who have even compensated, like we just heard about Lagos State now? What exactly is the reason behind, coming out to protest again today?
And because things haven't changed. There are no, although I do not expect things to change overnight. I think that it's a process. But then, do we need a protest or a list of agendas for government to realize the things that are happening? Is this detachment once you're in power from the people that causes this kind of conversation? Somebody said that your child must cry as feedback. But my people in Auchi says that that your child is not crying does not mean the child will not eat. It's not cry that will tell you your child is hungry.
Sometimes you by yourself as a good parent.
As a good parent should be able to know that lunch, I'm not eating, this child did not eat lunch or did not eat breakfast, the child must eat dinner. So these are things that when you're in power, you must, every time we get the MBS give us statistics. And you wonder whether they are planning with the statistics that they are getting, the data that they are getting. We heard this morning how cost of living continues to go up. And government just comes to explain that it's dollar, and we continue to do this. Nigeria as a country presently imports every agricultural produce to show up the inability to meet up some other agricultural produce. Is that country earning? It's not only the petrol that we sell. When we even get here, mine here, we set out and then buy back. Government has to be when exactly would this myriads of problems end? So people protesting, most people are not just protesting police brutality, they are protesting the life, protesting the hardship, everything. And in response, you hear people jokingly say, jackpot. Then the government will come and tell you, don't jackpot, without giving you hope or something to look up to. You cannot drive your car freely. When a policeman stops you, you park, you attend to him, show him your document and drive off because you've met it. Because when he's, just a minute, when he stops you, he is trying to get something from you. You are afraid of him, and you don't have any place to resort to with that complaint and be sure of justice. Let's take this call from Samuel Adeyemo. Good morning, Samuel from Alagbado.
Good morning, ladies of your view.
Good morning, sir.
You see, it is very, very unfortunate that our government are not learning. Feelers that we are getting now is that even some EndSARS protesters have been arrested by the police in Lekki Tollgate. This is very, very unfortunate. You see, if government don't take this thing with the seriousness it deserves, what happened last year will be a child's play to what might happen again. Because these people are protesting peacefully. Let them protest. You ladies have rightly said, when a baby is crying, it's a feedback. So let government get this feedback and work on it. And do not try to truncate the will of the people. It's very, very terrible when people are being arrested for protesting peacefully. This EndSARS thing, what really baffles me most is that the government keeps telling us nobody died in that last year protest. It is thought-provoking. It's as if government has turned Nigerians to fools. How can you tell us nobody died? Alhaji Lai Mohammed is telling us nobody died in the protest. It is very, very terrible. We cannot continue to live like this.
Thank you, Samuel, for your thoughts.
So I'd like to say that addressing what Samuel said, you see, the thing is, I know that many of us we've glorified revolution, we've glorified all of these things, but we don't want any more bloodshed. The experience, nobody wants to live in war, nobody wants to live in a place of crisis. It's just, yesterday I started thinking about the fact that tomorrow is today.
Tomorrow is today.
As in, like, yesterday I was thinking of today and thinking of 21st, and I was having palpitation, I was having panic attack. Nobody wants to be in that situation, and we really need to understand, and I'm happy that even those that organized this protest, when they heard the body language of the government towards a protest, found other peaceful ways to achieve their goal, which is to say, we are still here, you have not answered us, and they said they would do a car procession, they mentioned it online, said over and over again, nobody should get down from the car. We must talk to ourselves as well, because we all must make this thing work.
Yeah.
Because if it breaks down, it would affect all of us. Many of the rich, many of our political leaders, they can fly. They have extra passports, they have the money, they can jackpot. How many millions of people will jackpot? Even if I jackpot, will my parents be able to jackpot in time? Won't I have cousins? It is going to affect everybody. And then the nerve of people online thinking that the media is not saying the right thing. The media is not doing anything. See, you can sit on the phone you can sit behind your phone and say anything. It's my face on TV. I'm an only child. I know what happened to me last year, and many of us are pretending like we don't know what will happen and what is happening around. So somebody is able to say we are cutting costs, and it's not true. So people, you know what I was saying when we were starting the show? I said, have a big picture. Create a story that empowers you. Somebody will sit at home and think that TVC is deliberately cutting calls or we're trying to censor things, which is not true. Do you understand? So we need to always think about look, where the shoe from another person, reason is from another person's perspective.
Look at it with another person.
Don't just sit down and think that everybody is ganging against you. All of us are in the same boat.
Yes, so
there was a part of the protest.
Please let me hold you on that. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So still on the EndSARS topic, I remember that there were panels that were set up, to probe what happened during the protest, and a lot of stories were coming out, a lot of people being indicted. But so far, I don't know where that has gotten to. I don't know where that has ended. And my question will now be, where do we go from here? How do we intend to proceed from here?
I'm of the opinion that going forward, you see, anyone who feels like my voice is not going to be heard, whatever I say is not going to matter, they will take law into their hand. So we need to strengthen the internal system within the police that corrects within them. Because if you refuse to correct yourself, people outside will come and tell you, this is how you should correct, this is how you should. So we should strengthen within the police to correct itself. I also feel that the common man sees the judiciary as their resort, as their hope, as where they will get justice from. And we need to strengthen the judiciary. As long as we don't do those two, if I feel like, you see, we saw videos, though, we saw videos. If we did not have videos, all of these things would be like, hey, they said, she said, that said. Everyone that got compensated had serious, they had serious evidence to show that they were indeed brutalized by the police. They had suffered in the hands of SARS. It moved me to tears when I read some stories of how people were arrested and detained for a long time. Some lost their lives. Some were searching for dead bodies.
Pregnancy.
So there are many people that have been aggrieved. And until justice is served, the nation would, the ground will heave. So for me, we need to bring more justice to everyone who is aggrieved. And it goes both ways, because we know there were lots of police. And sometimes when I say this, people would come for me. That a lot of policemen lost their lives during this thing.
Yes.
A lot of them. There were videos there were videos that I just felt like, how can a human being do this? The same way I feel like, why would a human being slap another person because you want to collect money? It's wrong. But same way someone with anger would see a police officer and beat up the police officer. What are you trying to achieve? That man is a married man with children, with family. He went to work. He's being traumatized by the same country you are traumatized by. All of us are facing the same thing.
Facing the same hunger. Let me take this call, then I'll come to Nima. Oluwatobi from Egbeda. Good morning, Oluwatobi.
Good morning. I just want to say this. I think that protest of last year already made two things clear to Nigerians. Number one, we have no democracy. The government does not care about us. We don't care about the citizens' lives. What have we gotten after 1 year? The camping here and there. Even the lives of terrorists are even more valuable than the lives of our citizens. So I think, secondly, this has served as an eye-opener to every Nigerian that both the APC and the PDP, they have nothing to offer us. Absolutely nothing to offer this government. I think it's time for us to just sit down, sit back, strategize before 2026, that we need to just kick them out and bring in a new party, new candidates with fresh ideas. I will not be afraid to prove anyone that is provable because the party member has been involved or anything. I think that already found, this protest already found that Nigerians, if we are united, our voice can be heard. And since our voice can be heard, so like if we are united in our vote, we can do what is right with our vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Oluwatobi.
So, for me, we must be focus-driven. We must be able to focus on what the issues are and how when we solve one, we'll solve the others. During the protest, I saw a lot of people misunderstand the protest and went for individuals. That's why Tokwe could talk about the police officers killed. We wanted a problem of police brutality solved by killing police officers, by creating, apathy to the job, when that job was created to solve a problem too eventually. So I got caught the day before the fire happened here on my way home. I made it against all odds. I saw the bonfires on the road, and I was able to, because we paid. You get recognized, attacked, you pay your way. I went into Ilasa, got lost, bad roads. I finally busted out, and I made it to Abuleado. At the entrance of my community like this, a person was like, madam, hope you did not get caught in this. Oh, so sorry, you can go. And another person said, she cannot go, say. And that was how they attacked. I parked my car for them and trekked home. It was that bad. He was drinking, smoking, and that person is protesting an issue. We can't continue to deceive ourselves. He was high, drinking and smoking, taking time, and he was saying she cannot go. She have job now. She's working somewhere now. She's this and that now. She's so. Another person was like, this person has been helping with the congestion of our road, talking about giving us a voice. Let her go. And I saw the two of them going back and forth. I was like this. And before you knew it, the loud voices of the other person, they were doing parties, drowned the voice of the person saying, let her go. I had to park my car. They were even nice. They had to force the police station at Abuleado. This woman, nothing must happen to her. She has really tried. And I was able to park my car, trekked home, joined protests and trekked home. Who do I want to protest with? Look at me, I'm an allergic. I will not join you smoking and drinking and, enjoying. That's not how I understand. But that doesn't mean I don't understand the issues.
And the pains of the people.
The pains of the people.
Let me take this call. Etsu from Mina. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think I want to appreciate you people. I think this is a very nice issue. We appreciate your program. And just want to chip in this issue of EndSARS. For me, I just want to advise that if it's possible, we should suspend all the protests now. So many things is going on in this country. I can tell you, my sisters, people are not happy the way things are going, and every part of this country also, everybody feel marginalized. So we have to understand that it's all about protest. The way people are using this country in social media, let's forget, because if we didn't build this country, I think for even children, let's build this country for better, for even to so that our children will see it, because if we continue talking, nobody is happy in this country the way things are going. But again, let's not support issue of protest and it's just because our youth doesn't have anything doing. But nobody should go and talk about this EndSARS and other things. We should try to do our best to do something that this country will bear, because all over the world is watching us, most especially in social media, my sister. We are abusing this country. We are talking bad about this Nigeria every day, which is very unfortunate. We are not happy. Thank you very much. I appreciate your program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Etsu. Let's take a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have a caller on the line, Dami from Ikeja. Good morning, Dami.
I really want to appreciate CBC for having this kind of forum to talk about issues like this. I want to say, first of all, that the EndSARS protest actually accomplished one thing from the aspect of the young people. For instance, I have my office in Okwebi, Ikeja, and before the EndSARS, I knew how many times police stopped me, the SARS will stop me along that road. Sometimes, I mean, they will have to check. There was a particular night around 10 p.m. where I had the speaker that I just bought was in the carton. And the police people insisted that I unbox that speaker. After they checked everything in my car, that they couldn't see anything, they needed to see what was inside. And I said, this is speaker. This is a gift to someone. I can't unbox it. If you unbox it, you have to go and pay for it. But they insisted, and they opened. I felt victimized. But I can say from last year after EndSARS, I mean, I'm even currently carrying dread, and I will carry dread because of
and you haven't been harassed?
I have never been stopped for the last 1 year, anywhere within Lagos, anywhere in Ikeja, by police.
Wow.
When I'm stopped, you just probably be, oh, okay, you find out something, how are you doing? And then I go, so from the young people, EndSARS accomplished something. Forget, it accomplished police brutality reduced. From the government side, I don't see anything that they've done. The effort that we have seen in the police reform only because young people came out last year. And that's why I'm also happy that we came out again this year, no matter how little it is, because it will still also reinforce that we are still alive and we are still pressing what we asked for last year. So even if the police was going to come back to start brutalizing young people with the protest happening again today, that would...
Thank you so much, Dami. So we have a correspondent, a TVC correspondent live at the Lekki Tollgate right now, Miyen Akiri. Can we have him now?
I can hear you.
Good morning, Miyen.
I can hear you on your view.
So can you help us with the situation? What's going on there right now?
Well, protesters have come out in a large number to indeed exercise, their rights over what happened over 360 days ago. And at about 9:45 a.m. precisely, despite, some challenges of not wanting them to occupy the toll plaza, I can confirm that at about 9:45 a.m., exact spot where they do their protests last year, this time around, was where they were able to occupy. The police are on ground. It's been a difficult challenge for them trying to control the crowd. And as I speak, there is traffic, from the Lekki toll to other parts of the island, especially if you're coming from Victoria Island. But by and large, the situation earlier this morning was that about 4 persons were arrested by the police. Those who were unable to identify themselves. But gradually, the crowd grew bigger. And as we speak, hundreds of protesters are here to indeed exercise their fundamental human rights.
With the cars, I'm seeing a lot of cars parked on the protest grounds. Why are they using cars? A lot of cars are
parked. Most of them, are protesters. And what they agreed on earlier was that they will use their car on as a symbol of marking the 1-year anniversary of the EndSARS saga that happened at the Lekki Tollgate. And now they are saying because the EndSARS was born out of police brutality in the country, they want an end to this. And they are saying 1 year on, to a large extent to them, nothing much has changed. But then they've been able to indeed perform their rights here today, but not without some form of challenge, because they are not happy that a few number of people were arrested, and they are going with their car on. They're also working to indeed exercise, their right by saying they should indeed end SARS brutality or police brutality in the country.
So, Miyen, we nicknamed you Oriyo Miyen on the show because we know that you were there this time last year, and you were also there the day after, and all the things that happened. So we're happy that you are alive and well. We're happy that you have the confidence to go there. Well done. We need to say that. But, you experienced what happened last year, and you're seeing what is happening now. What would you say has changed in the language of those that you have engaged with on ground?
Nothing to a large extent, has changed. Nothing much, from those protesters, from the words they use, like Sorosoke. Now, what does Sorosoke mean to the youth? It's about being vocal, being able to speak what they demand for. They want good governance, etc., which on the norm to them is their right. It's the right of the people, to ask questions. And this is what they are saying, that the Nigerian youth, want to have a voice and they want to be listened to. And that's what they've continued here at the Toll Plaza in Lekki. You made mention of the fact that, yes, I was here on the 21st of October. It was one experience I will not forget in a hurry. And yes, it's a live show, but then I must thank God, for his mercies. I must confirm, yes, I'm at Lekki Toll Plaza. Last year, you asked me a question if I saw guns, with this youth. Where I was last year, on the 21st, I saw guns with the youth, and it was very, very difficult. That was after what they alleged, at the Toll Plaza. But by and large, today, it's a free protest. We're not seeing any of the youths, with any harmful instrument or guns. Nothing of such has been seen. No one has been able to threaten anyone. Yes, earlier today, there were, some form of a bit of confrontation, between a sister station, that's colleagues, journalists precisely, and the Nigerian police force. But then those are issues that will be settled, much more later. But by and large, the youth have gathered here and they are trying to exercise their fundamental human rights, and they are asking questions, especially the demands from last year. The 5 demands, they've been talking about a year on.
Miyen, let me quickly throw in this question. I know that whenever we have the protest, there's always build-up of huge traffic, and there's lack of vehicular movement. And I can see that where you are, the cars are packed. How is that affecting the regular flow of traffic on that Lekki axis?
Well, unfortunately, while some youths have come out to exercise, their own rights, it is also affecting, others who actually have places to go. But the difference between what I've seen today and what happened last year is that there are 3 lanes on the other end, where vehicles who are moving into, Lekki can indeed pass. Unlike what happened last year, where all the roads, were shut. So at least, there's a different approach, this time. Let me just take a walk towards, some of the free zones at this stage. This time last year, we never had, a free road where, cars could move. But for those who are interested,
we can barely hear him.
They are fundamental rights. They are in front of Toll Plaza, doing that. Can you hear me, Namurayo?
Thank you so much, Miyen Akiri. Thank you for that. I believe this conversation will still continue. We'll still have to hold government accountable. We'll still have to hold the people to appropriate behavior, and we'll keep having conversations and likely getting experts to come and help us on how we can do this better. We don't need experts, right? We need body cam.
We need records. We need things, not arms all the time.
Experts on the way forward, how to take these issues forward. Nima, on that note, let's go on a break. When we come back, we take the woman we love. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about the EndSARS protest, and in the light of the new information that Miyen just gave to us, what are some of the things that we need to begin to look out for and probably advise the people around us on how to go about this?
It's inevitable that we have some hoodlums hijack this. It's usual, it's the norm. People who are criminal-minded or criminally inclined would always seize every opportunity they have, which is why we must have clear paths to take. It would be nice that those having the protest spot these people themselves and pull them out.
Pull them away.
And call them out and say, no, you're not part of it. Don't come and taint this whole laudable, genuine agenda that we've come out to push to government. So this is going to happen. But on my own part, I would love government also to be involved in the country that they are running. Leadership, unlike as it was inherited from our colonial masters, is not you as against the people. You are not above the people. If you want to have a democracy, you should have a democracy, which means that you're part of the people. The police brutality can be curbed even before their welfare is taken care of. Compel police officers now to have body cams, to have scanners. So you don't have to force me to open a delivery that has not been paid for because you want to check what is there. If you have a scanner that goes that you carry around, it will tell immediately if there's illicit material in that, and then you can arrest me at the point of the crime. So we need technology. So if you fail as a police officer to wear your body cam and I report that you brutalized me, it is my word against you. Yes, you don't have a defense if you're on duty and you're not with your body cam. People should also resort to having cameras. Jimmy Disu talks about the cameras in his cars now, that, he uses to help himself when he's driving. If you can afford it, put it. We're at a point where we must have consequences. We can't continue to
We have a situation in Abuja. I think we should take a look at it. Yes, please. Can you hear me now? Good morning. Hello, can you hear me? Good morning. Oh, okay, we lost the correspondent. Yes,
I'll just, I don't think we have much time.
We don't?
So I'll just do like a final comment of what I feel is most important that we mustn't forget from this today, what today signifies. Today signifies the unity of young people. It signifies that young Nigerians have a voice, and if we can work together, we can make huge change. We can make the president talk. We can make the governor sit up. And we should deploy that power positively. Number two, our leaders should realize protest is not an attack. It's feedback. Address the issues and we'll be in peace. Number three, can we ensure that we live in peace with one another and not allow things to degenerate? Like Nima suggested, if you see someone with a cutlass or with a gun, you yourself report them. Don't stop them because you cannot face it. But report that there's a man beside me, I think that he has a gun. So that we would purify our cause and not let it get tainted by criminal elements. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Tope. So for me, I think we've established that we have a voice and people hear us when we speak. But then we need to still find how best we can use our voice so that we do not give opportunities to people who are lurking in the shadows, waiting to take advantage and destroy our cause altogether. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll continue to monitor the EndSARS protest and see where it goes from here. We'll come your way again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.